Now it looks like we're going live on YouTube. All right. 8:01 p.m. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another installment of Get a Clue in 52. Oh, boy. I'm joined by a couple of my favorite people right off the bat. Let me just say thank you, Patty and Vipul, for being online live like right away. And because I'm going to need you tonight. The honest transparency is that I just got off the golf course. I've been having beers. I'm in a great mood, and we're still going to march on. So, Patty and Vipul, be rings around my Saturn. But here we are for another installment of Get a Clue in 52. That's right. This is where every Sunday night we read one tip from the book, and then we pivot into conversation with whoever's online on the Zoom side. So we did this last year. I created the Get a Clue in 52 Facebook group. And when I would Zoom, I would live stream it right into the Facebook group. This year, I'm live streaming into my YouTube channel, Watch Get a Clue. All one word, Watch Get a Clue. YouTube. And it's not just these videos that I'm putting up there, but there's a lot of good stuff. There's other pre-recorded good stuff, from content to testimonials, etc. You might even see video of my son slapping baseballs all over the field. Anyway, watch Get a Clue. Okay, so we're live streaming into YouTube. Hello, for those of you that are watching on YouTube. But we're live on Zoom. So for those of you that are out there on Facebook or YouTube or wherever, if you want to come on board and interact after I read tonight's tip, very easy. tinyurl.com/get-a-clue. GETAKLU. Daddy, you want to say it with me? GETAKLU. tinyurl.com/get-a-clue. If you'll jump right into my Zoom if you ever go to tinyurl.com/get-a-clue. All right, I digress. 8:03 p.m. Let's go ahead and get into it. I have some dedications still to get through. I think last week it was to Dr. T-Bone. This week in the dedication section, it brings us to my son, AJ. And before I read the dedication to him, let me tell you this. Painstakingly, I'm going to tell you this. But it's like a mixed bag of emotion. He beat me today. He beat me. AJ beat me. 18 holes, like legit. One stroke. He beat me. Like 111, 110, or 110. Neither of us are good. Don't kid yourself. Kid's never taken a lesson. He's playing baseball. He hits a baseball left-handed, but he plays golf right-handed, and I'm not messing with his baseball swing, and he beat me. He beat me. Now, I hope you can understand how much I love that and how much I hate that. I digress. Get a Clue in 52 is about personal professional growth. So if I'm not talking about personal professional growth, I'm not talking. And oh God, it's just wonderful to see him out there pushing himself. He's never taken a golf lesson. He looks at video and he listens and he learns and he absorbs and he competes. And anyway, so it's fitting tonight that among all of the dedications in this book, and here we are 15 weeks in, and I'm still not done reading all the dedications, it's fitting tonight's to AJ. Here we go. To AJ. And by the way, I hope you can hear me, kid. He's here. He's under the roof somewhere. Ready? Here we go. To AJ. The first edition of this book came out at a time in your life where it seemed you were getting it. As you transitioned from middle school to high school, we saw so many of the right habits, perspectives, and decisions from you. You are a sophomore as this second edition comes out. And I couldn't be prouder of what you accomplished as a freshman. I know you are destined for your own versions of greatness. Keep working hard. Keep getting good grades. Stay committed to making others better. And your greatness is assured. AJ, I love you. All right, let's get into it. Tonight, Get a Clue in 52 is 5 categories with 10 tips each, except for marketing, which has two extra tips. And we're in the marketing section now. We started the year with the communication section, 10 tips. Now we're in the marketing section. So 10, 15. This is the 15th Sunday of the year. So let's get into it. Marketing. That's where we're starting. Let me review the first couple of tips that we went through in marketing, and then I'll read tonight's tip word for word, and then I'll pivot to group conversation with Patty and Vipul, who are the only two on with me right now. However, if you want to come on board with me right now, tinyurl.com/GETAKLU. Very easy. Come on board. You're probably in better shape than I am, so there's nothing to be embarrassed about. Come on in. Here we go. Tip number 1 in marketing is know what you need to know, then know it, right? So I laid out 11 things that I think good marketers or marketers that want to get better at marketing or good marketers that want to master marketing. I laid out 11 things that we should know and then get ready to know it. Now, what I say about this tip is you don't have to learn all 11 at once. That's foolish. I'd rather you identify the 1 or 2 among the 11 that will make the biggest impact for you, and then dedicate to learning and knowing and executing. All right. That was tip number 1. Tip number 2 is know your ideal customers. And tonight's tip is so heavily related to tip number 2. Know your ideal customers. As a matter of fact, tonight's tip, dare I say, goes scuba diving, dives deeper on tip number 2. Because tip number 2 is to know your ideal customers. But tonight's tip is to know what their issues are. It's a scuba dive on tip number 2. I digress. Tip number 3 is know the competition. Tip number 4 was know the conditions. The socioeconomic, political, cultural, vibrational, you understand, neighborhoodly, right? Conditions. What are all the conditions that surround us that help us be better marketers? Without going into too much detail there. That was tip number 4 in the marketing section, tip number 14 overall, which brings us to tip number 5 tonight. Tonight, tip number 5 starts on page 48. If you have the book, it's available on Amazon.com for last year's price, $20.20. If you are interested in paying $50 for this book, but knowing that at least $40 of that goes to charity, then private message me and I'll give you a special link to get a hand-signed personal copy of the book where that money is going to go to Charity for Hope. Charity for Hope is a charity started by my good friend, my client, somebody I look up to. As much as he looks up to me, I look up to him. It's a beautiful relationship, but Charity for Hope. Anyway, I'm selling $50 versions of this book so we can get some money to Charity for Hope. So if you're interested in paying $50 for a version of the book, will you private message me, please? And I'll send you the link. Now, here we go. Tip number 48, know the issues. This is the word for word part. Here we go. If every issue were a coin, the problem would be on one side and the opportunity would be the other. Every issue that is unresolved is either a problem if it remains unresolved or an opportunity to resolve it. To know the customer is to know the issue the customer needs resolved. However, There's an important difference between being considered an expert on your customer and being considered an expert on the issue your customers face. Patty, do I have your permission to read that one again? Thank you.
Of course you do.
Thank you very much. However, there's an important difference between being considered an expert on your customer and being considered an expert on the issue your customers face. For example, knowing an entrepreneur needs to invest in work-life balance is not the same thing as knowing if the entrepreneur is married or single, in their 30s or 40s, a parent or with zero dependents, etc. Knowing entrepreneurs is different than knowing work-life balance. I'm going slow on purpose tonight, right? Here we go. The tip here is that the best marketers are not just great marketers. They are also SMEs, subject matter experts, regarding the issues customers might resolve with their products and services. A good marketer will know that the same type of person that is in the market for training bras might also be likely to buy concert tickets for a pop star or download certain social media app, but a great marketer knows that the same person is dealing with coming of age, identity, or peer group associations or pressure. A really great marketer strives to know about those issues as much as the experts do. All right, that's it. That's it. I almost feel like I want to read the whole thing again, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, what I am going to do is I'm going to invite Vipul and Patty to open up their microphones. Let me get out of headphone mode and let me get into the audio that supports us all. So give me 2 seconds here, you guys. And let's go ahead and do this. Give me just 1 second to test my testing 1, 2, 3. Finish. And Vipul, Patty, you should be able to hear me now. Yeah?
Yes, we can.
Okay, let me turn up my volume so I can hear you full blast. All right. Vipul, first of all, Patty, thanks so much for coming on board. You guys are really important to me. Somebody shows up every single week. I mean, like, what a blessing I've had, whether it's Charlie from South Africa or Patty or Vipul or anybody in between, Brandon, or like there's a lot of regulars. And I'm just so thrilled that instead of just reading by myself into a camera by myself and then signing off, I get to pivot and actually interact with people every single week. Not only is this week 15 of this year, but we did this 52 consecutive weeks last year. So we're actually in week 67 consecutive Sunday nights, right? Anyway, I'm super, super grateful. The other thing I want to tell you is, I don't know if I mentioned this up front. I didn't make a big deal out of it anyway, but I should. This is birthday week. We are concluding. Thank you, Patty. My birthday week. And I want to say that I've had like probably close to 300 years of friendship surround me over the last 4 or 5 days. And my hat's off to Vipul. My goodness, Vipul, your beach house. I rented Vipul's beach house, right, for 4 nights. And people drove from Santa Clarita, Las Vegas, Temecula. I mean, like, people are coming out of the woodwork. I mean, if you ever want to know what you might mean to people, a birthday is a good litmus test. And who rallies? But you know what? I feel like the community at large is just spring loaded to just go somewhere and be somewhere with somebody. And I'm filled with gratitude right now. Coming off we are concluding birthday weekend. I just got off the golf course with my brother, my son, and like my best local friend, Tom Wellness with baseball. but I played 18 holes last night, par 3 with 5 of my buddies. And then I played on Friday, people. On Friday, I played with, anyway, I'm having a great time, right? 4 nights into this, I'm lubricated, right? And I'm ready to open up to dialogue. I'm so happy you guys are here. Patty, people? Oh, I should say this. I should set you up better. And tonight's tip is know the issues, right? So, what are the issues your customers face? Or what are the issues your prospects face? And from a marketing perspective, what are you doing to speak to the listening of the pleasure and pain your customers trying to get away from or get closer to? I know what Vipul's going to say. Patty, you know what Vipul's going to say. He's going to say ladies first.
I know. Well, one of the most important things that this came under communication.
Yeah.
We need to listen to understand. We need to hear what the complaints are, the issues, before we can, as a coach, before I can even help someone, I need to really acknowledge and understand what they're saying.
Right.
And,
well, let me ask you a question based on that. Ready? Are you ready?
I always.
Search your mind for any time in your life that a salesperson failed to listen to you, or a marketer kept feeding you info that didn't appeal to or motivate you.
Oh yeah, lots of times, right? Because they're trying to explain the process that they use or the system they're using instead of talking to me about what I want or what I need. Yeah, for sure. Happens all the time.
So there's the marketer whose job is to put information out there to make you a prospect, to take you from a lead to a prospect. Or, well, let me digress. Take you from an unknown to a lead,
right,
and a lead to a prospect. But it is a salesperson's job to take you from prospect to client, customer, or what have you, right? So in that process, anywhere along that line, like try to will you do me a favor and tell me about how uncomfortable it feels when the marketer or the salesperson is out of integrity when they're communicating or performing what their job is, what their role is to know.
I can give a very concrete example. So I got called up out of the blue by a woman who wanted to sell advertising that I would buy to go in a book that would be at golf courses.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I need more customers. I want more customers, and I want to serve and help people. However, she never even asked me a question. It was just more and more statistics about, how many booklets would get published. And, she couldn't tell me the reward that anyone got by advertising. She couldn't say, oh, I know this person who did this and got these many clients.
Mm-hmm.
All she could just tell me is what they were offering, but without any connection about what I might want.
Well, yeah, back to tonight's tip. It's clear from your example, it's easy to imagine that she wasn't communicating a pain that your advertising dollar would get people out of, or a pleasure that your advertising dollar would get people closer to.
Correct. The people weren't even involved at all. The potential clients.
Let's what I want to try to do is keep everything we talk about tonight rooted in this idea, this metaphor of the coin. And on this side of the coin is a problem, but on this side of the coin is an opportunity. It's so without flipping it this way or this way, it's just the issue.
Yeah.
The issue. Right? And so when we are being marketed to where the issues we face are not addressed, we ignore them. If we are, when we're being sold to, if people don't ask us about us and identify what our issues are, and in sales training, sometimes this is called objections. Identify their objections and overcome their objections. Identify their objections and kill their objections.
Right.
I don't behave that way. I say identify their concerns and address their concerns. What are they concerned about? Issues. Issues that cause them pleasure if unaddressed, issues that would give them, issues that cause them pain if unaddressed, issues that would grant them pleasure if addressed. Issues. One set of issues is pain, the other set of issues is pleasure. I'm talking about the root core here in this tip. Now it comes off lovingly and superficial and surface, right? But what I'm talking about is I'm talking about pleasure and pain. You guys understand? What pain are your customers in that you know your stuff can get them out of? What pleasure do your customers seek that you know your stuff will get them closer to? So many marketers, salespeople, companies, supervisors, directors, VPs, etc., they're doing their jobs autobiographically rather than biographically. When I say that, I mean, I don't want to tell my story. I don't want to tell my team's story. I don't want to tell my company's story. I want to tell the story of my customer. I want to tell the story of my prospect who became my customer and then realized a better life because they bought from me. Are you guys with me on that? So many people are autobiographical. Like, let me give you an example. Vipul, God bless you, man. You've been on my mind like these 4 days, these 5 days, and I texted you a text. I want to make sure, like, hey, man, I am checking out crystal clean. I'm not causing any problems for my guy. Like, when I check out, it's going to be on time, following the letter of the law. We read the manual. You know what I'm saying? If it was anyway, but I want to say thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to book your joint. I literally had hundreds of years worth of friendships visit me at your place these past couple of days. Now, as preface, I'm saying that as preface to invite you to speak on this. If you would have said to me, hey, Jeff, it's right on the beach. Hey, Jeff, it's closer to PB than Mission Beach. Hey, Jeff, it has a garage with an automatic door opener. Hey, Jeff, if you would have been telling me only about the features of your place, I may or may not have, right? But if you say, Jeff, what are you trying to accomplish during your birthday? So, well, I want a place where everybody could come, have a great night to stay. There's room for everybody. Now you would only tell me about, hey, Jeff, we have 4 bedrooms and the couch pulls out into another, so it sleeps 10 easily. You understand? But you wouldn't have led with sleeps 10 easily unless you knew what I wanted first. Right? You would have led with right on the beach, right on the beach, right on the beach. Well, you want to know what? Here's the truth. I don't like sand. I'll go out to the beach. I'll go in the water if and when I have to, but I don't like sand. I don't like it on my mouth. I don't like it in my butt crack. I don't like it in my fingernails. I don't like to have to stand under a faucet and wash it off. It's just a waste of time to me. Do you understand what I'm getting at? All right. My point is like being on the sand, it was for me more about the people washing in the fresh air in my nose when I woke up in the morning, but not about actually going out there and getting the shovel and the pail and the my ass crack, like in the you understand when you have sand in your ass crack, if you can tolerate that, good for you. But I don't like it. I'm trying to get, what were my issues? I wanted to create a place that was appealing enough to I'll drive down from Santa Clarita to be with Jeff this weekend. I'll drive down from Temecula. I'll drive in from Las Vegas. People had a lot of things going on in their lives and they put them on hold to be with me at the beach house. And when you'll see it online, people, the collection of, I'm like, step out, dude, your patio, by the way, the patio that wraps around everything, it's now called my photo booth. I'm like, come on out to my photo booth because I wanted everybody that came by to visit me at the beach house that went out of their way to be with a real person, to get a real hug, to breathe real air, see real people, eat great food, and feel family and love. Like people drove out of their way to experience that with me. And people, I couldn't have done it without you, man. I couldn't have done it without you. But my point is that your place satisfied issues in my life. After a year being pent up, I've traveled, but my wife and my daughter haven't, in the past. So, to create a staycation anyway, I'm just saying what you could talk about the features of your place all day long, but unless you interview the prospect, you'll never know which features you should put forward first, right? What are the issues? Like, hey, when you rent my place, what issues are you resolving? You never, no, I'm not criticizing you, but you never asked me that, right? You say, hey, Jeff, renting my place, what issues would that resolve for you? What pleasure would that get you closer to? What pain would that get you out of? You don't need to do that. Your place sells itself, dog. No kidding. Oh my God. And by the way, I've got prospects for you. When I share your link, you'll be booked forever, dude. Everybody that visited the place, how can I get this place? It's amazing, dude. Hats off to you, people. Thank you so much. But let me stop talking and let you guys open up your mics. And we're talking about know the issues. When we're talking about marketing, you better know the issues your prospects are dealing with. And you must know the pleasure and pain of it and how your products and services will get them towards pleasure or away from pain. And if you don't do that, you're not going to be as good at marketing as you could be. I digress. Patty, Vipul, do either of you want to open back up?
Yeah, I wanted to say something about the, to me, it may be, and I don't know if this was the intention or not, but I know we're in the marketing section, and this is tip number 5 about knowing your issues. And the sentence that you read twice was knowing the difference. I'm gonna have to know the difference between being an expert on your customer versus expert on the issues your customers face.
Yeah.
So the second part brought me back to the org chart and the 12 accountabilities of a business in an org chart. And the second part of that sentence brought me to box number 7 about customer service.
Yep.
About doing research and knowing what your customer issues are. So I know that's not in the marketing tip, but as you should also know what your problems your customers face, because then you could use that as a selling point. We do that in the hotel world all the time. We don't start off with the price. We try to figure out, oh, you're here for business? Guess what? We have free Wi-Fi. Oh, you're here for business? Guess what? We have free complimentary breakfast before you leave. So we use the same, but you have to know the issues, and you have to even when you say autobiographical, it makes me think of an elevator speech. Knowing your issue. I know this is not knowing your issues, so to speak, but you want to find out who you're talking to first before you begin before you begin your elevator speech, right? No, not necessarily your issue, but almost like know your audience in a sense too. But just know first before you talk first.
Yeah, there's speak. Marketing is speaking.
Yeah.
On some level, even if it's in text or in print.
Yeah.
Marketing is speaking. So I could just say hashtag speak to the listening.
Yeah. And right now we're about to open up our daycare, our preschool, our learning center.
Yeah.
Talking about knowing the issues. Good Lord. We got to
Right.
know all types of issues.
What's the righty? Let me just guess, just as a parent of 3 myself, right? Right. How early can I drop them off? How late can I pick them up? I mean, and I hate to say that, but oh my God, for all of you parents out there, like getting your kids dropped off as early as possible and being able to pick them up as late as possible means you've got other stuff to do, and you got to make money to pay for that daycare anyway. But like, right? Are they socialized? Are they being educated? Are you eating? What are you feeding them? What are the rules for discipline? If they act out, do you talk to them before you call me, or do you just call me right away? Hey, I can imagine what you're going to be facing in your daycare business in terms of issues. Because the
How sick
kids,
can they be when you drop them off?
yeah,
How what?
How sick can they be when you drop them off?
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
right. You got to
That's a
do that,
huge
right?
issue.
I remember when my kids were younger, like, oh my God, if they have a fever above this, they have to stay home for a day and they can't back until the day after. If it was a blah, blah, I don't know the details, you know that. But I remember we had to follow these rules, and so, yeah, you got to set rules based on the common issues, and then you got to be flexible. I digress. I don't want to talk anymore. I want to ask you guys, what do you have to say about knowing the issues when it comes to marketing?
Well, it's interesting, people, that you brought up number 7, customer service, because I looked back in last year for this same tip, and Todd Sue brought that up.
Interesting.
During this exact tip, customer service, right? So R&R, listen, whoever's performing customer service jobs, their accountability is twofold. Get R&R, and I'm not talking about rest and relaxation, which I think I'm going to get tomorrow after 4 nights in a row, 54 holes of golf, and everything in between for my birthday week here. We're concluding birthday week tonight, and I'm actually holding it together quite well, I would say, given what I've been doing. Now, having said that, what was I talking about?
R&R for customer service.
Repeat and referral. Repeat and refer, not rest and relaxation. According to Kluby, I don't know where Charlie is tonight, by the way, Patty. Maybe this.
Oh, I do. He's got that problem with the electricity.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, this is for Charlie tonight. The Kluby snack is, right? Great customer service is all about R&R, not rest and relaxation, but repeat and referral. You want customers to repeat, and then refer others to you.
Oh, I've got a question. When you talk about knowing the issue in marketing, is that going back to the org chart? Is that a marketing in box type thing that the person should do, or is there marketing out?
It's both.
Both, right? Yeah, it would be both because they would have to know how to do both.
Yeah. So let's put it this way, right? It's the chicken or the. This isn't necessarily a chicken or the egg, but in an ideal world, I'm trying to share my screen with you guys again. Give me 1 second so I can share my screen with you guys. Where is it? It's got to be here. Oh, here it goes. All right. So forget this proposal, this personal professional growth proposal. Let's get here. All right, there we go. All right. So first of all, for those that have been paying any attention, here's the integrity game. We integrate engagement with motivation and with accountability. That's at a high level, the integrity game. Now, one way to motivate people is to give strategic information. And some strategic information is small business, right? Small business coaching. So when we get to what you're referring to Where is it? It's got to be, there we go. This is what we want to see, right? You guys are referring to box number 7, and as if everybody knows what you're talking about. Let me just catch everybody up. Here's the Quebec 12 step, 12 accountabilities that all small businesses face. As solopreneur, micro business owner, small business. When you get up to corporation, you're going to have an HR department, a legal department, etc. But human resources and legal, while you're starting off, all fall in operations. Here's the operations department. Here's the marketing department. Here's the sales department, right? And then, of course, here's the finance department over here. So now that we've got a visual that we can look at to address your questions, in operations, there's 3 accountabilities. One is have something to sell. But then once people buy it, you got to serve it to them. So when Vipul and Patty were referring to box number 7, this is box number 7. That's the 7th accountability. When you sell something to somebody, you have to serve it to them in a way, ideally in a way that makes them want to come back and buy more, or in a way that makes them want to refer other people to you. Let me say hello to Marissa and Donna Winfrey, who are coming on board on the Facebook side. God bless. Love you guys. Thank you for coming on board. And then Vipul and Patty are with me on the Zoom side, and we're talking about Org Chart 101. So first of all, just for what it's worth, the first accountability is the business worth running, right? Thank you, Mikey. I love you too, brother. That's wonderful. People are coming on the Facebook Live. All right, here we go. Is the business worth running? Run it. Now, what are you selling? Who are you selling it to? How do they know that you're selling it? What is it going to take to get them to buy it? Once they buy it, how do you deliver it to them? Where does all of this take place? And then how do you account for it? Very simply put, I'm giving you the Quebec 12 step right here. This is straight out of my coaching and leadership training. So when I'm training coaches to be small business coaches or solopreneur coaches, life coaches, or, not life coaches, but solopreneur or micro business owner or small business coaches, this is it. This is Org Chart 101. And when we serve the customer, it's because we know what matters to them, right? When we're doing Vipul right here, market research, we're collecting information from the marketplace. And by the way, the last 3 tips in Get Included 52 were the 3 C's. Know your customer, know your client, and know the conditions. Competition. Customer, competition, and conditions. Does that make sense to you? Customer, competition, and conditions. So to me, that's right here. That's market research. I have to research my customer to know the avatar. I have to find out and be the animal and know what their self-talk is and know what pleasure they seek and know what pain they want to avoid. But I also have to know who else is marketing to them. And I also have to know what's going on in the condition, in the climate, right? Socioeconomically, politically, culturally, etc. It's a really big deal for certain businesses. Like, let's just put it blunt. It's a big deal to your business whether Trump or Biden is president. It's a big deal. Think about how many businesses are completely affected. Now, I'm not telling you what's right or what's wrong or what's better or worse, but who is president makes an impact on your business, on most people's businesses, right? So that's what I'm talking about, conditions. What are the issues? If you're marketing to somebody and you're not aware of the fact that the election is an issue for your customer's business and you're just marketing them without addressing that issue, you might not be the best marketer. Does that make sense? Right? So, hey, you guys, open up your mics. We've got the org chart opened up. So with this in view, let's continue the conversation. Patty or Vipul?
Yeah, I was referring to box 4 and 5. I had the question, but I think the answer was like both. For knowing the issues, which accountability. If you have a separate person for number 4 and a separate person for number 5. And pretending back to this tip, knowing your issues, both of those people would have to know the issues that your customer faces in order to do their job as 4 and number 5.
You see that box right there?
Yeah.
It's not a box in the org chart. Patty, you laughed because you know it is what? It's the communication
Right,
between the people doing market research and the people getting messages out to the marketplace. If there is no connection between the people researching the market and the people putting info out to the market, if this doesn't exist, you're gonna have problems.
Bad marketing.
Patty, you laughed out loud. You saw it right away.
Yeah, no, I get that very much.
You want to elaborate?
Well, you could find everything you know about your competition, but if the other hand is telling the world about what you do, but they haven't communicated with what the other part has been learned about the competition, you're not going to be as effective. It took me a while to understand how 4 and 5 were so different yet needed to be connected.
Yeah, the category is marketing, but if this is where I'm standing, right? Charlie, if you're listening, if you could turn this into a Kluby snack, if there's a million things that need to be done in marketing, all 1 million of them fall into one of 2 categories. Either we are researching and finding out and acquiring, bringing info in, market research, or we are figuring out all of the wisest channels to put info out and do market penetration.
Right.
Info in, info out. Let me learn about my customer, my competition, and the climate, and then let me put good messages in to that collection of dynamic, right? So, we're talking at a high level. We're talking theoretically. It would be wonderful if we had specific anecdotes, and if any of you out there want to come on board and say, hey, Jeff, well, here's my issue, here's my situation. And if you want to get live free coaching right here on Sunday night, then right on. Now, I don't know if you want to get it from a guy that just came off the golf course, has had several beers after a weekend of drinking beers and hanging out with hundreds of years with the friends, and who's quite fatigued and who after tonight's session will probably go to bed quickly. I'm so close to going to bed after tonight's sessions over you guys. Anyway, but come on board, tinyurl.com/get-a-clue. Come on board and let's chat it up. Patty, Vipo, do you guys have anything else to say about knowing the issues? Because let's be clear, we're in Get a Clue in 50. We're in Get a Clue in 52, right? Tip number 5 in the marketing section, tip number 15 overall. And we're talking about pleasure and pain, the issue. One side of an issue is pleasure. The other side of an issue is pain. What pleasure do your clients want to get closer to? What pain are they trying to get out of? And how are we communicating into that self-talk around their own pleasure seeking or pain avoidance? Anything else you guys want to talk about? I still have the org chart up. I could probably lose that if unless you guys have anything else said it's org chart related.
No.
Okay, great. So then anything else? I'm going to go ahead and go last call tonight. Anything else? Comments, questions, offerings, people? I can't tell you how much I love you and how much gratitude I have in my heart for you. Golly, man, you make so many lives better. And I don't even think you realize what you do. You just keep looking for the next thing. You are the serial go-giver. And I just want you to know there's a ripple effect. Like a pebble goes in the ocean, blah, 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 blah. Your love, your generosity, your wealth accumulation and desire to share and lead people to giving their way to the top, which is your book, by the way. Let me do a shameless plug. Give You Rid of the Top by Vipul Dial, everybody. If you don't get mine, get his. And if you really want to be smart, get them both, and you'll figure out what's really going on here. My point is, God bless you, Vipul. Thank you so much, my friend.
Guess what? Now I get to start them with my next business venture, 6 weeks to 5 years old. Start them young.
Okay, I'm gonna have to ask you about that on the back end because I'm honestly too fatigued to wrap my brain around that right now. But it's exciting. Patty, last call from you.
Well, that's funny, people, because I was thinking about the issues that my clients had, not being productive, not getting their goals reached as fast as they like. And when I looked at the other side of that issue is that they're not getting enough sleep. So I want to create the 6-week sleep solution.
You know what? I could talk about that right now if you want.
Interesting.
Not in terms of a 6-week program. Whatever you got for us, I'll give you all the space in the world to share it, either tonight if you want to go in deep. But let me just briefly share this. A sleep cycle is 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't manage time, but you can manage sleep. So if I know I want to wake up by 8 a.m., I go backwards. 90 minutes, 6:30, 90 minutes, 5, 90 minutes, 3:30, 90 minutes, 2, 90 minutes, 12:30, 90 minutes, 11, 90 minutes, 9:30. And now I know what times I can go to bed where I will get full sleep cycles in. You never want to wake up at the bottom of a sleep cycle. So if I take a nap and I know I don't have 90, I'm going to take it for 30 minutes or less. I'll say, Siri, set an alarm for 30 minutes, and I'll put it down. And I know that it'll take me 5 minutes to wind down and fall asleep, and I get a 25-minute nap. And I haven't fallen all the way into REM yet.
Right.
So when that alarm goes off at 25, I can wake up, be alert, and get rolling. But anybody that tries to wake up at the bottom of a sleep cycle, if it's 90 minutes and you try to wake up from 40 to 45 to 50 minutes, you're going to have a hard time. So my recommendation, not to steal any thunder, Patty, but if you're taking naps, some people, I don't want to take a nap. I can go the whole way. I can stay awake. And that's silly. If you're falling asleep while you're working, stop working and go lay down. Now, when you go lay down, it's got to be 30 minutes or less or full 90 when you're taking naps. All right.
I actually have read about that in my research for napping, but if you're a napper, because it all depends on the individual, but it's a good point. I like it. I'll talk to you about it more.
Okay, really cool, really cool. I'm sorry if I cut off what you were really trying to share. Is there anything else you were really trying to share that I got in the way of?
No, but I have a joke for you.
I want to hear it.
Okay. So what is a line?
What is a line?
Yeah, it's a dot that went for a walk.
Oh, cool. It's pretty cool. The first thing that came to my mind right there is I wish my 8-year-old were in the room with you to hear that joke. I want to share something in return though. Like I was ready for Charlie, but I wasn't ready to be super, 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 super serious because I knew that I would be doing this session lubricated after golfing, right? I just, I'm being transparent. I don't hide anything from anybody, right? I'm being transparent. But I thought Charlie would be on board and he would ask me for a Klubi stack. And I came up with a really, what I think is a playful one. But it's always in the ear of the beholder. And it goes a little something like this. Charlie, this one's for you if you're watching the repeat. Are you ready, Patty? You ready, Vibble? If you insist, if you insist on wiping your ass with the same tissue that you used to blow your nose, please blow your nose first. All right, get a clue to 52, everybody. Hey, Thank you. The smiles on your faces, oh, they fulfill me, because that's funny, right? If you like, think about it, if you insist on using the same tissue to wipe your ass that you used to blow your nose, please blow your nose first, please. All right. Anything else? Last call. Get a clue to 52.
That's going to be a Kubi snack that he's going to be thinking about. But he wanted me to wish you a belated happy birthday.
Oh man, thank you, Charlie. I know you're listening, watching somehow, some way. Thank you, and to everybody else that was joining me live on Facebook, like Mikey and Donna and Marissa and Fayette and Flora. To say a few that are showing up in my view right now, and whoever else has scrolled through. Anybody watching on the Watch Get a Clue YouTube side, anybody that's watching the repost of this and Get a Clue at 52 Facebook group, or any of the other channels that were putting this out, just thank you. I'm filled with gratitude. I feel like I'm the luckiest guy on the planet. I've got an amazing wife, incredible kids, incredible friends, incredible clients, wonderful community, really good, valuable stuff that I sell at, like, really for pennies on the dollar for what it means to others if they use it and work it. And people, you are just a walking, living, breathing example of what personal professional growth is all about, and a commitment to personal professional growth. I'm so honored to be in your life, and so honored and grateful to just like benefit from what you create as the serial go-giver. Patty, you're like everybody's big sister. You know, like I think about the United States of America, and you are like America's big sister. And I'm lucky to have you guys with me tonight. And I thank you so much. My hat's off to you guys. Any last questions, comments, or anything before we dismiss for tonight?
Just thank you as always.
All right, Patty, I love you so much. Vipul, thank you, brother. All right, I'll be with you Tuesday night when you read the next tip from your book. That is for sure. Tune in Tuesday night for Give Your Way to the Top. Vipul's going to read one of the 52 tips in his book, and I'll be there with him to support him as best I can every week, because we're doing important work in this world. Listen, we're all playing the integrity game. That's the bottom line. Is we all have integrity. Integrity is not something you have or don't have. Integrity is something that you're either doing or not doing. So please, everybody, ask yourself, what am I integrating my decision now with? What does my behavior right now integrate with? Who am I integrating into my successes? How am I integrating my successes with my community? Like, please just keep playing the integrity game. Please, 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 please. We all have integrity. We all need more. The world needs more. Please pick up your copy, Get a Clue in 52, where you'll read a preview chapter of the integrity game. I'm waving the flag of integrity. It's a game we can all play, and we can play it better. I love you guys so much, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. All right. Good night, everyone. Oh, you want to seal it with a kiss? Of course.
Well, we always do.
Mwah. Oh, yeah. You. Mwah. All right. Thank you, Patty. I forgot. I love you,
Okay,
Patty.
bye.
All right. Good night.